Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Ale. Welcome back to my world of stocks. Really quick, just want to say that I am still recovering from strep throat, so I apologize if I'm a little low energy or struggling in this video. But thank you, by the way, to all the people that left really nice comments, kind words, and support that you've shown me this past week. It really means a lot to me, and hopefully, I'll get better here very soon. With that said, I'm here regardless to welcome you guys back to my three stocks on sale series for the first month of the year in January 2025. So happy New Year's, everyone. And because this is a special episode, I want to kick off the new year with a bang. So I went ahead and I purchased two brand new stocks for my portfolio. They're also two stocks that I have almost never talked about before on the channel. So you're not going to want to miss this episode. Plus, I'll be, of course, including a third stock as well that I'm also buying myself. So I can't wait to share these stocks with you. As always, do your own research, make your own decisions. I'm only sharing with you what I'm doing myself for your entertainment. But if you're still with me, then let's go ahead and kick off the new year with three stocks that I think are absolutely on sale right now, trading at really great prices. And we'll go ahead and start things off with the two brand new pickups that I just made, with the first of those being an American solar panel maker and seller in First Solar, ticker symbol FSLR, which I picked up for one specific reason. Well, I'll put it this way. It's not the only reason, but it's a big reason why I'm buying this stock now, and that is because of the upcoming Trump presidency. Now, don't worry, this video will not get political in any way, but just from a business standpoint, First Solar has a lot to benefit from Trump coming in for a second term, which you probably wouldn't expect from a Republican candidate to be actually helping in a renewables market. But this is because Trump in particular has an affinity for tariffs, more specifically tariffs on China. Now, why does that matter for solar? Well, if you know anything about the solar panels market, you know that their number one biggest hurdle right now is cheaper panels coming from China that Western companies struggle to compete with on price. Well, if you go back to Trump's first presidency, he actually imposed new tariffs on panels coming from China specifically, and they benefited First Solar by so much, excuse me, they benefited them by so much that they even built an additional brand new factory in the States to increase American supply, which they even pleaded to the new Biden administration when it took over to not remove those Trump imposed tariffs. And for that reason, I just think another 4 years under Trump, excuse me, would likely secure that protection for them, basically ensuring that their already massive backlog extending all the way through at least 2030 will be here to stay. By the way, that's also in large part just because of really how large the renewables market in general continues to grow and rise over time. Hence why they're even building yet another brand new factory now in the States, despite already being the largest manufacturer in the West. So really, I just think that the tariffs is an extra bonus for helping them secure that dominance, as First Solar is also the only company of the top 10 solar manufacturers to be based in America without building them in China. So if the US wants to compete on a global scale, they'll really have to protect a company like this, right? And that's what I expect in the future. It may not be the safest stock out there because of the rising threat of cheaper Chinese competition, but considering how much the stock has already fallen, dipping by over 40% this past year, leaving behind a dirt, and I mean dirt cheap valuation of a PEG ratio of less than half of one and about 77% cheaper than the sector, I just think that this is a stock here that is an easy pickup at these levels for what is really a value stock that analysts also think will still continue to be growing both their sales and profits by some very large rates in the coming years. Speaking of which, those analysts also rate the stock a strong buy, with the average price target sitting more than 50% north of where it trades today, with even the most bearish analysts predicting at least 28% gains too over the coming year. Again, do your own research, acknowledge the risk, and make your own decisions. But I tend to agree with those analysts here, so I'm picking up the stock myself too. All right, moving on to stock number two, purchase number two here. I decided to add a brand new REIT to my portfolio, and it's not Vici. I already added that one before. This is a brand new one. It's one that I almost never covered before on the channel, and I'm very excited about it. And that stock is American Tower, ticker symbol AMT. Now, for anyone not keeping track of my recent videos, you should know that I think REIT stocks have some of the biggest long-term potential right now in the market, at least from a value perspective. Now, in case you don't know, these are really just companies here that own real estate, and then they lease out those properties to collect rent and other fees on them, which they in turn use to pay out a large portion of that income to shareholders, usually in the form of attractive dividends, which in the case of American Tower, their dividend yields over 3.5% with some excellent growth metrics on it too. They've actually grown that dividend every single year since paying it. And the reason why they're able to do that is because of how reliable their business is. However, in a broader sense, many REITs have actually been more volatile recently, given hurdles like the retail apocalypse, as well as the recent pandemic, both of which resulted in more businesses closing down, with many people also staying home to work remotely. And this sent demand for office real estate crashing, and many REIT stocks right along with it. But AMT has a business that should not at all be associated with the rest of those, as theirs really has nothing to do with retail or office buildings. Instead, they specifically buy up land to build cell towers on them, which they then lease out to mobile carriers like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and more. By the way, those big three, they recently signed new multi-year contracts with them too, so the business should be even more secure going forward, which is already at a gigantic size with over 225,000 locations worldwide across 25 different countries. And with the rise of smartphone usage, internet usage, work from home, online shopping, the Internet of Things, smart cities, cloud computing, data centers, AI, smart cars, I could go on and on, but with the rise of all those things, well, the need for these cell towers is only going to increase over time. In fact, according to Statista, mobile data usage alone more than doubled since 2020 and will likely double again over the next couple years. And the great thing about AMT is that when they get customers, they tend to keep them with a super low churn rate of only around 2%. That's because of how hard it is for these large carriers to move all of their equipment over to a rival provider after having already installed it on AMTs, which is usually done with multiple carriers on a single location, helping AMT's profit margins expand even further, growing to over 70% now, with also rising funds from operations. That's a key financial metric for REITs. And yet their stock price has actually declined by over 40% recently from the top. But this is largely due to rising interest rates that made their dividends less attractive compared to other assets. And yet we know that interest rates are slowly coming down and will likely continue to in the coming years. So, considering that the market decided to wipe away essentially all of the pandemic era gains, while much of the broader market actually soared, leaving AMT trading even cheaper today than they did all the way back in 2019, with the dividend also rising to one of the highest yields that we've ever seen from the company. Well, I just think that it makes for a fantastic value dividend stock to pick up on the dip, so that's exactly what I did here. Now, granted, their growth has been slowing down lately, but conditions in the broader economy are more to blame for that, with even wireless providers currently struggling right now to grow too, and thus it's affecting AMT's business. In my opinion though, those are really more broader market concerns that I just think have to improve over time, rather than anything that AMT is doing wrong themselves. So I'll be adding more as the price falls. All right, guys, that's going to leave us now with the final stock of the month. Now, while it may not be a new pickup for me, it's still a stock that I'm buying very heavily right now, and I will continue to do so in the coming month. And that is actually another REIT in Extra Space Storage, ticker symbol EXR, who I know I've been talking a lot about lately, right along with Vici Properties. Both are REITs that I'm really in love with at their current price tags. But I'll just make this short and sweet for you and give a really quick update on the stock and why I'm buying so heavily. Now, like I just said with AMT, I think many REITs are an incredible bargain right now, but only if you can find ones that will not be disrupted by those changing consumer trends that we talked about. Well, that's exactly what storage facilities offer, as no one is going to magically stop needing them. In fact, many businesses, especially small ones, that are really moving away from offices and expensive buildings are in many cases even utilizing storage facilities to store, much of their expensive equipment and gear that they may need to use in the future. Self-storage can be a great solution for that. But consumers too, regular people, whether you're downsizing your home, changing locations, or just needing some extra space at home, no pun intended, well, renting a little storage is actually a much cheaper alternative to having to find, a new house or apartment with extra bedrooms or larger space. That's going to be obviously much more expensive. Hence why EXR practically never sees a dip in their financials, even during weak macroeconomic conditions like we had during the 2020 recession and subsequent fallout of inflation and high interest rates, where EXR actually thrived. This is due to the overall demand for self-storage continuing to rise regardless of what's going on in the broader market or across consumer trends, which you can see on this chart here. And the result of that, this is really one of my favorite charts of all here, is that storage REITs in particular have actually become the second best performing of all kinds of REITs, only behind those that cater to data centers, which have obviously skyrocketed because of the use of AI. So really to only be behind the monumental rise of artificial intelligence, I think bodes extremely well for just how valuable storage facilities have become. And that's why the REITs have performed so well. And to have what is literally the market leader here in EXR with more square footage than any other company in America, even ahead of Public Storage, U-Haul, and more, well, I just think that makes it very attractive of a REIT to own. And of course, it has everything that you're looking for in just an overall stock too, with excellent financials, a fantastic occupancy rate of around 94%, and a stock price that has lost over a third of its value recently, leaving behind one of the highest dividend yields that we've ever seen from the company. So like the others, I think it's a steal here, and I'm scooping up shares while I can. All right, guys, that'll do it for this month's video, though. Let me know what you think about these stocks down below, and if there's any stocks that you like, let me know that as well. Maybe I can include them in a future video for you. Hey, if you want to support me, if you want to go above and beyond, you can also click on my Patreon. It's down in the description. Gives you access to our community portfolio, our community Discord, and my new daily stock purchase that I post every day. And I'd love to see you on there, but thanks for watching regardless. I appreciate that, my friends. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're all doing well, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.